All right, Wildcats, I just want to take a quick minute to highlight some of the science instruction I observed this week. First of all, kicking it off with Michelle Walker. I know we discuss the purpose of a safe to tell, but if Michelle Walker gets a whole bunch of them this weekend, I fully support her. She did one of the things I remember as a parent that drove me nuts. So Michelle Walker launched a very simple and engaging science experiment with milk, food coloring, and Dawn dish detergent with a Q-tip. All right, it was a color changing experiment. The great thing about this was that she, sold it with a storyline, dropped in the milk, and asked one simple question that allowed her kids to think. What do you think is making the soap move? So first graders were able to challenge their own hypothesis and say, oh, I believe it's because this, and I predicted it's because this, and I guess. So great job, Michelle. But I'm pretty certain that some parents are going to be like, what happened to our dish detergent? And why do I have 20 dirty bowls in the sink? And why don't we have any milk? Because my kid did that all the time. She came home and duplicated those. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out Johnny Lacey's third grade journals. After his experiment, he had the kids kind of, reenact the experiment on paper with a visual and the labeling. I told Johnny the great thing about his journal is if I picked up his journals like 3 months from now and I was on that page, I would get a sense of what the expectation was, what the outcome was, the purpose of that lesson, because the labeling and outcome of the journal is very clear. It's not just kids just drawing something just to draw it, or they're coloring in it so that he can have time to move on to the next segment. It really is a document of the work that they did within that class period. So nice job, Johnny. Please check out Johnny's journal, and if you have a second, try to see if you can balance a pencil that's attached to string with 2 clothespins. See if you can balance it on a table. Very challenging. And last but not least, I ended up in 5th grade yesterday watching Tanika win, aka the Wonderful Magician, because she set up her her chemical reaction experiment like a magic show. It was so much fun, and I really appreciated that my table, I had 3 kids at my table, they followed the protocols for the table talk discussion, and even when one of my table mates said, well, I think the reaction is because of evaporation, that the 2 young men at the table were able to challenge her thoughts using scientific evidence that they discussed before, and they even referenced it from their notebooks. So great job, Tanika, and you really sold it as the magician. Nice work, science department. Keep it up.